Welcome to How Preschool Teachers Do It.
This is Allison Kentos. I am an early childhood educator.
And this is Cindy Tarabush. I am an early childhood consultant.
This podcast is for parents and early childhood professionals.
Let our experience and research-based knowledge become your guide. So today's episode is about separation anxiety. So Allison, I feel like in the classroom you have like a bird's eye view to separation anxiety. How did that go for you in the beginning of the year?
I definitely have a bird's eye view. This year I have 11 children in my class, 10 of which cried for the first week or two of school. There was a point I had more adults in my classroom than children because you could hear the crying from down the hallway. But, it took about a week or so, and they then got less and less crying as each day went on. And then now you would not even know that happened in the beginning of the year. They're totally fine. They love coming to school. It just took a little bit of time. I mean, these were all children that had never been in school before, ever. They were used to being with their parents and nannies, and that was it. And they got dropped off at this big, huge building with lovely me, but they didn't know who I was.
Yeah, right. We take children, we take young children, and we toss them in a room filled with strangers, and we yell, "Have fun," as if that's real. Like, if you tossed me into a room full of strangers and yelled, "Have fun," I would look at you like you're crazy.
I would pass out. So,
right?
Yeah.
Right? I wouldn't enjoy it either.
I wouldn't enjoy it.
So, I think that we have to understand that this is perfectly normal. And I know when I visit schools in the beginning of the school year, as I walk down the hall, I hear the crying. I see teachers holding children in preschool. And they always look at me and I'm like, "I'm sorry, they're crying." Well, there's no reason to be sorry. It's perfectly normal. I don't know why we would expect anything different.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's some parents that are like, "Oh my gosh," there was a parent that said, "I'll pull my kid out if you don't think she's ready." And I said, "She's ready. She's fine." And now you would never know that girl cried and got my shirt all filled with tears. I mean, because I held her for the first week of school. And then one day she came in, she goes, "I'm ready to be here. I'm happy." And I was like, "Good for you," and that was it. She never did it again.
They just have to learn to trust. They have to, and that takes a little time, but there are ways that parents can help teach their children about that trust. And I think that, I know I'm a parent and I've dealt with it with my kids when they were little. And it's really hard. I know how heartbreaking it is. I would walk out of the building and sit in my car and cry because I just wanted to go and rescue them. But actually going and rescuing them doesn't help them at all. Right?
That makes it worse.
That makes it worse.
You have to teach them. Well, I think when you go and you rescue them, that shows them that this is not a safe place. My mom had to come get me. Right. It's not safe. That's what the kids are thinking. Like, "Oh, this isn't safe. My mommy had to come get me. See, she rescued me. This is, what I'm thinking is right." Well, and really, if you just do the opposite,
they either think this is not safe or, I'm right. I can't handle this.
I
think kids will think I'm right. I can't survive here. I can't handle this because they came and rescued me. And that doesn't teach them anything about being independent. Used to, when I directed a school, I used to direct a school and I taught in schools for a long time. And I used to tell parents, please just let me take it. I'm a professional. I know what to do with it. And I know how to address your children in a way that'll help make them feel safe. But if you don't hand your child over to us, it teaches them that you don't trust us either.
Right. That's exactly right. And it just shows like, "Oh, see, I shouldn't trust this woman," when really it should be like, you should teach them like, "No, she's your teacher and she'll take care of you. Right. You're safe here." And I tell parents to use those words because those are the words I'm going to use. "You're safe here. You're okay. Yeah. We're going to have a fun day. You're going to make friends and you're going to have fun." And I just keep saying the same thing over and over and over again until they kind of just get it or it clicks one day, because it will click one day.
Don't you think it's really important that parents don't sneak out? I think it's so important. They're so tempted. Yeah. If the child looks away, parents are so tempted to just sneak out. But I don't think that helps the child. I think, we have to be honest to the degree that children can understand it. And I think parents need to go over and smile and confidently say goodbye.
Yes.
So that the children, it's terrible when the parent has snuck out and then the children start looking for them.
Well, yeah, because now they realize, well, it's almost like they got abandoned there. And that's not what you want them to think school is either. I tell the parents, like, figure out whatever you want to do for your goodbye ritual is fine, but do that same thing every single day. Even after they're over their separation anxiety, I would just keep that goodbye ritual every day. Whether it's, you wave goodbye through the classroom door window, you give a high five, you give a hug, a kiss, whatever it is, make it the same thing every single day, use the same words, do the same gestures every day. And then they realize, okay, this is the part where I separate and I go to school. School starts now. Because then, they make this separation between home and school,
Right.
through that ritual.
Tell me, how do you feel about, because I know how I feel about it, but how do you feel about children bringing in something familiar from home? I've seen teachers embrace that, and I've seen teachers tell parents, no, they're not allowed to bring anything here. So what do you usually do?
Well, this is what I do. In the beginning of the year, you can bring whatever you need to make yourself feel better, all right? Because they need that. You can't always do a cold turkey. I always have photos hanging up of the parents and the families and all that. And I say, if you're ever sad, your mommy's hanging right here on the wall. You can go look at her. But I feel like there's nothing wrong with them bringing a little stuffed animal or a little blankie or whatever it is that makes them remember that home is still there and I'm okay. Now that my kids are in my class are over their separation anxiety, I have this little box and I call it the sharing box. I'm like, okay, now that, you get to have your stuffed animals for the first 15 minutes of school. And then I say, okay, we're putting everything in the sharing box. And I take the sharing box down off the cubbies and they throw everything in there. Now they love it. They love the sharing box. They ask to put their stuff in the sharing box.
Oh, that's
now.
Really cool.
Yeah, because they realize they don't need it,
I've done stuff with
yeah.
I've told kids, certainly in the beginning when they're still really scared, they can hold on to whatever it is, their toy, their picture, whatever they brought from home. But then sort of like you, I try to get them to put it away. I am also just like the parents. I'm afraid that someone's going to ruin it. Yeah. Lots of things happen in an early childhood classroom. So I will tell them, let's keep that safe. And I've told kids, let's put it in your cubby or let's put it in your backpack and it'll keep it safe. But I let them visit it during the day.
Yeah.
If the child wants to visit it, they're most certainly welcome to go over to their cubby and take it out for a sec. But the kids learn really quickly that you take it out for a sec over there and then you put it right back.
And then you put it back.
Right?
Yeah. You can go give it a hug. Like for me, it's like my cubby area is kind of like separated from the rest of my classroom. You can't really see it that much. It's like separate. So I'm like, if you need a hug, we'll take the sharing box down. You get out your little thing, whatever it is, your stuffed animal. You give it a hug, give it a kiss. Talk to it if you need to, but then we're putting it back in and we're going to go back to school.
Yeah, and definitely. Yeah. But I get upset, when I see people say, nope, nothing from home is allowed in here. That's more of a grown-up need than it is the child's need. That's, the grown-ups worrying about losing the children's things or whatever it is, but it's not really about what the children need. Don't we all sometimes have stuff with us that reminds us of the people we love right? I have right on my cell phone, I have a picture of my husband and me from a fun vacation we were on. And sometimes when I'm feeling anxious or stressed out, I just look at that picture. I don't know why we want to deprive kids of the ability to do that.
Right. Yeah, because we as adults, think about if you have a desk at work, I'm sure that you have pictures of your family there to remind you that home is there. And even if you're having a bad day, those people still love you.
Right.
So why are we saying to children, you can't have that in your life? Do you know what I mean? I think you should welcome it all in, right. I very much want the parents in my room, so I always have photos hanging up of their families, and then I invite the parents in a lot. A lot of teachers won't do that. They think, if I invite the parents in, then the kid will not want to separate afterwards. But they need to learn to separate. So when
but the parents also need to learn to separate.
The parents, yes, that is true.
Another issue is us.
I have a little boy whose dad came into mystery read. He was the first mystery reader we had. So this is like October. Kids were still a little anxious. It was only the first month of school. That was it. His dad was the one that had issues. The dad was like, oh, do you think he's It's okay. I'm like, he's fine. Look, he's fine. You can go. He's like, but I don't want to.
I know. I've had parents
you have
I've
to.
had parents like linger with their kids in the hallway, sort of
Yeah.
waiting for the kids to cry.
That's
I don't want to anticipate the separation anxiety either, just because you and I are saying it's perfectly normal. And I think
right.
that we have to sometimes let children take the lead. I think this is one of those cases. And I
Yeah.
think that, another way we let children take the lead is by sending them the message that we know they're capable. And how do I send the message I know you're capable if my own separation anxiety from my child has me lingering there? If
Yeah.
they're bringing the children to you or to me or to any preschool that I work with even, one would hope that they're doing that because they trust the place they're bringing the children to. And honestly, if you don't trust the people, you need to think about that.
It's not the right school for you.
That's right. So I hope we've given everybody some food for thought. Let's sum up because times are running out. These topics, we have to go on to another episode, but, maybe we'll come back to this one day.
Yeah.
I guess to sum up, we want people to know separation anxiety is perfectly normal. Go ahead and expect it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when the children are upset, don't sneak out. Just confidently say goodbye and go. And if you need to call the school 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times to see if they're okay, do that. That's about you then, but the children are probably fine.
Have an open communication with your teacher.
Mm-hmm.
That is so
or your
important
school principal or director,
or
somebody. Yeah.
So important, not just for this issue, but for pretty much any issue you're going to come across at a school. You need to have an open communication with people. If something's happening at home, tell your teacher or your principal or somebody so that we know. Like, it's just.
I feel like we have to do an episode about that. I feel like we have to
do
an episode about families and schools partnering. Because it really doesn't work if we don't. But that's a whole nother topic.
That's a different topic.
It's a long topic.
Yeah.
Adults cooperating could be like 2 episodes. So, have a goodbye ritual was one of the things that you said. Have a goodbye ritual and stick to it. Until the child is like, no, I don't want to do that anymore. It's kind of like your good night ritual, right? I had a good night ritual with my boys when they were really little until they were like, Mom, that's kind of goofy. I don't want to do that anymore. So I think we let the children take the lead in that way. But most of all, know that what we think is rescuing is really not helping.
Right. You're giving your child a reason to worry about things.
Yeah. Yeah, really, truly. Let's not add to the worry. They're already worried.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to move on to a different episode. But if you want more information from us or about us, you can feel free to email me. What do you think of that, Allison? You can email me and we'll share it. Yeah, we can email. So this is Cindy, and my email address is cindy@helpingkidsachieve.com.
And my email is AllisonJoy79@gmail.com. Allison spelled with 1 L and an I.
Okay. We will hopefully have you on air with us again next time.